So a list is a collection of related data. Let me explain. Let's say you want to store the name of all the states in the US and you don't know how to use list. You probably would try to store all the 50 states in a separate variable like this. But the problem with this is that it's a very painful way of storing such a long list of related data, having to create a new variable every now and then. So a better way of storing a data like this is making use of lists. In other programming languages, it's called arrays. So a list is just like a variable, but it can hold multiple data instead of just one data like a typical variable. Multiple values are separated by a comma. Here is an example. So we open the square brackets, and then if it is a string we want to store, we can just save them like this and say the first states New York, California, and Texas. So when we print this list and say print US states, we get results here. New York, California, and Texas. So instead of having to create a new variable every now and then by saying US state 1, US state 2, US state 3, we just save everything inside one list, US state. Then we open this square bracket and then close the square bracket and add whatever data we want to save into it. So by the way, you can add other data types in a list. You can save a number. Let's say you are coding a game and you're trying to store the values of the players. You could also write true like this. So if you want to add an item to a list, it's very simple. First, let's clear this. You will use the append method. So you say us states dot append, and then we put in the value. Let's say we want to say add South Carolina, and we'll say South Carolina. And then when we run this code, the new item gets added to our list. Now we have South Carolina inside our list. So this is how you add new items inside of a list. If you want to access just an individual item in the list, you have to do something called indexing. So you simply index the item by its position in the list. So let's add a little more. Let's add some more items to this list. Let's say Pennsylvania. Add Pennsylvania, like a few more states. Okay, I think this is enough for now. Good. So now we have one, two, three, four, five, six new states. And let's say we want to access California in the list. So what we simply need to do is we need to index the position of California, and the index of California in a list is 2. I mean, it is 1 because every list in programming starts with 0, not 1. Starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though we have 6 items in this list, the position of California is at position number 1 because in programming we deal with zeros and ones. This starts at 0. So now let me show you what I'm talking about. Print US state, then we use this box, this square brackets to get the index of California in the list. That's the second item in the list. Then we'll say square brackets and then say 1. When we run this code, it prints California. So that is how we get access to individual items in a list. So that is it. So let's say we want to print out Pennsylvania. What do you think we're going to input? So let's start 0, 1, 2, and then 3. So when we put 3 inside this index and we print it, we can get the answer. The answer is Pennsylvania. So that is that. There's another method that you need to learn about, and it's called the extend method. So it's almost like the append method, but it adds more than one item to the list. It can even add a list to another list. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say we have 6 states right here and want to add new items to this list. We could just say US. Okay, let's put this here. The US states dot append. Dot extend. Then we create our new list here and say can just call this new list and say what other cities do we have in okay, New Mexico. New Mexico. I think there's another state in US called New Jersey. New Jersey. South Dakota. So when we say US state dot extend and I add this variable name because this list here is saved into this variable, and then when we run this code, we get get your bond, like everything gets added to this US state list. Now becomes US, California, Texas, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, South Carolina, New Mexico, New Jersey, and then South Dakota. So there's another method to manipulate or mutate a list, and this is called the insert method. This works by using the index of where we want to position the new element in the list before inserting. So if we want to um let's say this Texas, we want to change the value, we want to manipulate this list and change this value and take away the Texas and add in a new state. So what we simply do is let's first get rid of all this. So how we do that is we say US state dot insert, and then this Texas is in the position of 2, is the third item in the list. Its position in the list is indexed by 2. So 0, 1, 2. That's very important for us not to forget. Then let's change this Texas to Washington and say, then we'll add the position first and say item 2 in the list and then Washington. I need to print this and then end, and I say print US states 5. So now notice the third item in the list gets replaced by Texas. I mean, gets replaced by Washington. The Texas there is removed and Washington is added. So that is all you need to know about lists. So for all of that and more, I'll see you on the next one.